Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us here for this Saturday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and I'll be hosting today's show. Hazardous weather graphics here. Right there, Northeast Prince William Sound. Once again, yesterday we had a wind chill advisory out. Today it's a winter weather advisory for possible whiteout conditions. Northeast Prince William Sound up the highway there, particularly around Thompson Pass. Looking for maybe 3 or so inches of additional snow there. And with the gusty winds, that'll really reduce the visibilities down to near whiteout conditions at times. And that actually goes into effect noon tomorrow and continues through midnight tomorrow night. Otherwise, for the southeast coast, we've got a winter storm warning continuing here for the Misty Fjords and Hyder area. And that's remains out until, let's see, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so the entire night tonight. And then we have winter weather advisories there just to the west, Ketchikan, Metlakatla, for several inches of snow. Temperatures down there in the mid-30s this afternoon, so it'll be kind of a heavy, wet snow. And so the heaviest stuff will be over toward Misty Fjords, which an additional, I believe, let's see, 7 to 10 additional inches may fall overnight tonight in that area. And then the east side of Prince of Wales Island also under the influence of a winter weather advisory for continued possible accumulations of heavy wet snow. And up in the interior, these are all wind chill advisories that are out for tonight and into early tomorrow morning, early Sunday morning. Western Arctic coast and the Kivalina area, northwest coast, Noatak Valley, Selawik Valley, Kotzebue, north side of the Seward Peninsula, Shishmaref, but not over toward Buckland, and thrown in the central interior there around Tanana, where it was left out yesterday. Today, it has the wind chill advisory there into Bettles, Koyukuk Valley, and southeastern Brooks Range, and part of the eastern North Slope. And that's looking for wind chills anywhere from 35 to 55 below zero, with the winds gusting as high as 30 miles an hour. That's mostly occurring over the higher elevations. And from that, we'll move to satellite imagery, kind of white up here on the North Slope, north of the Brooks Range there. That's due to the cold surface temperatures. Umiat Airfield at 3 p.m. this afternoon was 43 degrees below zero up there, and that's why it's showing up as white, as opposed to the Pacific here showing up as dark, where it's much milder. Otherwise, you can see kind of a band of clouds right through here with some light snow showers, mostly up the east side of the Kenai Peninsula, along the coast, western Prince William Sound. Look like Portage, that area, general area, had anywhere from 2 inches of snow. Some areas maybe a little more, other areas a little less. And it really cuts off as you head west, mostly well, it is dry with areas of fog in Cook Inlet, Manassas-Sitna Valley. Temperatures staying below zero all day through, well, anywhere here, south central Alaska, especially up in the Susitna Valley, in the Manassas Valley, where the Susitna Valley this morning, temperature was as low as 30 to 35 degrees below zero. And that's about what McGrath was sitting at this afternoon. Otherwise, you can see some clouds spreading westward here into the eastern interior from Canada, and maybe some flurries in there around North Wyandotte and possibly a little farther to the north, but really, if anything fell, it was quite light. And we had a system moving into the panhandle here, kind of a frontal boundary, not really held well put together here. You can see a big break right there, but it does have the structure. And winds gusting 55 miles an hour at Cape Decision. And precipitation amounts not all that impressive, about 0.26 water equivalent at Ketchikan today in the last 12 hours. And translate the snow, that'd be like 2 to 3 inches less if it was above freezing and pretty heavy and wet. Otherwise, up to the north, anywhere just a couple of hundredths, so precipitation so far has been quite light there, with the exception over toward Hyder, where it's much heavier under the warning area. And on the chart today, you can see mostly clear across Kodiak Island today, with that band holding off the coast there to your west, and maybe a few flurries I mentioned up over the eastern interior there, north of Brooks Range, or north of the Alaska Range. Possible flurries, really not bad here, St. Lawrence Island and the Bering Strait coast. Winds much lighter than they have been for the last couple of days here. You see very slack gradient over the Bering Sea, much lighter wind conditions than the last few days, and also less numerous snowfall, although low pressure there near the Pribilofs kept snow showers in the area there. Isolated snow showers in the Alaska Peninsula, mostly clear on the lee side of the Aleutian Range and Alaska Range. There with the downsloping, and then another weak system looked like it brought maybe 1-2 inches of snow to the central Aleutians, kind of hit and miss there, and scattered isolated snow showers all the way up to Shimiana too. For the forecast for tonight, so I have weak low pressure here near the Pribilof Islands, southeast Bering Sea, and a trough right through here. Look for the best chance of scattered light snow showers. Again, accumulations, nothing significant. Now clip the Alaska Peninsula, kind of a widespread area, light snow and fog, but that's north of the Pribilofs and west-southwest of St. Lawrence Island. You could get a few flurries there and some fog, but winds will stay light. And the interior, clear and cold, lows 45 to 55 below up over the northern interior areas. And afternoon temperatures someplace the Copper River Basin right around 30 below today, so definitely falling down below that overnight tonight. Snow showers beginning to taper off here, but that's remnants of that moisture. This low is circulating up, so that's where the winter weather advisory is, northeast Prince William Sound, and enough gradient there between the higher pressure to the north and this low to create the blowing snow through Thompson Pass. And system kicks through the panhandle here, lifting in to the area, so that's going to keep the winter storm warning and snow advisories going over the southern areas tonight, and then dry up in the north there. Arctic high pressure, light winds, cold temperatures, north slope, Arctic coast, well actually all of the interior. And then tomorrow this low kicks off into Canada, kind of a lingering band of light snow showers through the afternoon. Again, mainly Stewart and Hyder. Otherwise, look for a break here, maybe some clearing in the afternoon for the panhandle, but another trough and some moisture just off the coast, but that's not very strong. Mostly clear, south central Alaska, really not much change from today. Areas of clouds in the interior, more clearing though, probably is clear all the way out to the Arctic coast and down the west side here. A couple of weak lows keep clouds, snow showers, or areas of light snow going, kind of an increase over tonight here for the Alaska Peninsula. And the Pribilof still probably looking at some light snow, but winds are quite light through this area. And the wind chill advisories with anywhere 15 miles an hour or more. And that's definitely enough gradient for that up there. High pressure out west, we'll see, gives way to a stronger front that pushes eastward. And probably some gale force winds, mostly through this portion up through here. 30-35 knots pushing into Adak and Atka. And of course, southeast winds ahead of the front, warmer conditions, so snow changing to mixed rain and snow. And then a break here for the Fox Islands, partly sunny. Narrow band, really a narrow band of light snow showers here from the Alaska Peninsula up across the Pribilofs, but mostly clear. St. Lawrence Island, southwest interior, low pressure Gulf of Alaska, areas of light snow being circulated up to the eastern North Gulf Coast, say from Valdez, Cordova, eastward to Yakutat. Otherwise, chance of snow showers there for the panhandle. And for lows tonight, in the 10 to 20, well actually 10 to 30 there for the southeast coast, below zero away from the coastline of southern Alaska there, and 25 to 35 below over the southwest interior. You can see even out the 0 degree isotherm out over the Bering Sea with -2, the forecast low at Savunga, -11 at Macoriac, 16 for the Pribilofs, 25 to 30 for the Aleutians, and 25 to 50, 55 below up over the northern interior. And highs tomorrow well below zero in the north, much like today, and struggling to reach zero. Cook Inlet, Anchorage, Kenai Peninsula, although lower 20s right along the coastline, and upper 30s possible on the central coast of the Panhandle. Lows the following morning, back down Arctic coast, getting in on the maybe the -40 stuff there at, I believe that's Dead Horse, maybe New Exit. Otherwise, 25 to 40 below elsewhere in the interior, and that extends all the way down to looking at 15 to 20 below right out and beyond the coastline, 2 below for St. Lawrence Island, and the mildest area there looks like it'll be over the southeast coast with mid-20s to upper 30s, and highs right around zero southern Alaska, well below zero on up to the north.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Moving on to flying weather graphic, or first flying weather graphic for Sunday morning. A couple of zones of IFR here over the eastern Bering, one just north of the Alaska Peninsula, kind of slipping down across Unalaska and Mac Island. Another one up here over the northern Bering Sea and up to about the south coast of St. Lawrence Island, on down mostly off the Yukon Delta coast. Marginal VFR though right along the coastline there. Otherwise, mostly VFR in the interior, some marginal conditions possible. Central Arctic coast, more down toward the Brooks Range there. Upper Yukon Valley along the Porcupine and Yukon rivers here off to the farther to the northeast. North Waitoa could be a little marginal. North Gulf Coast, part of Prince William Sound. Southern Kodiak Island, down in here, possibly marginal. Panhandle, possibly IFR. And for the afternoon, that goes away down there, the lower conditions, and leaves the entire southeast coast in the VFR zone. It's got a little bit of moisture here, actually shifting eastward, starting the day out up, well, farther back to the west. Possible IFR there, probably just marginal, and still some lower stuff, but mostly a pretty good VFR day here for the interior, all the way from the Arctic coast down to the North Gulf Coast, Fognak and Kodiak Island, out into the northern Bering Sea, St. Lawrence Island, VFR, Nunivak Island, same thing, Pribilof's marginal, and Aleutians not too bad. Some marginal VFR around, otherwise VFR. And for the Monday morning outlook, really nice in the interior here. Possible IFR, looks like Kamishak Bay up into southern Kenai Peninsula, Port Moller, maybe Seldovia, possibly Homer, and along Kodiak as well. Otherwise, the Bering Sea not looking bad at all, just areas of marginal VFR with isolated IFR here. Looks like just east of the Pribilofs, and then some more IFR starting to build out southwest of Shimei and Attu, and a zone of IFR right across the Panhandle. And for the afternoon, not too bad, better conditions. That IFR nearly completely dissipates with some marginal VFR in the central and north coast, maybe there Prince of Wales Island on the coast. IFR zone here, North Gulf Coast to southern Prince William Sound, and a little patch here look like it's showing up over the Barren Islands, and a little patch here right off Cape Newenham. Otherwise, pretty good conditions all the way up to the Arctic again, VFR in the interior, northern Bering Sea, and then the next front spreading some IFR in a band there in toward Adak. And for passes, tomorrow another VFR day for both Anaktuvuk and Adigan. Probably be some clouds around, but I don't think you'll hit the threshold there for marginal conditions, but it's possible. Lake Clark and Merrill though, VFR, rainy, same forecast, VFR for Wendy. And Isabel looks like it'll be kind of a marginal VFR day tomorrow. And in Tasta VFR, possible marginal VFR in the southern entrance. And Tanita starting out IFR, that'll be early, becoming IFR quite rapidly by mid to late morning on. And for Portage VFR, Chilkoot and White VFR. Freezing levels 2,000 feet now, way down here, barely on the chart anymore, otherwise at the surface right along the southeast coast, almost up to Cape Yakataga, and then well south of Kodiak here, and then a little farther to the north than it was this morning here over the Aleutians, almost right along the chain, a little north of the Dutch Harbor area. And for icing, areas of light mixed possible here, just a slight chance, maybe a little better chance to the Alaska Peninsula into Bristol Bay, but that really not much of a threat at all with the main storminess well to the south, and then maybe some icing here over the moving eastward into the eastern Copper River Basin, eastern North Gulf Coast there, and this stuff pulling off, best chance early on southern southeast coast, and then gone by the afternoon. And the jet stream here, that's that trough that's kicking through, kind of a weak trough there, and it'll be gone by the afternoon, a little bit of ridging behind it, but generally cold upper low pressure areas here across all of mainland Alaska into the northern Bering Sea, keeping the jet well to the south. And 9,000 feet, light winds, easterlies, 10 knots, 15, maybe 25 knots, eastern Beaufort Sea coast, or just south of the coastline there. about 20 knots for the Panhandle, 25 to 30 maybe coming across Kodiak, and taking a look at 3,000 feet, same pattern. We've got upper low coming eastward here, and another one there over the southeast Bering Sea, higher pressure farther to the west, 15 to 25 knot winds around that feature, across Kodiak Island, east-northeast, 15 to 25 in the north, and turbulence, possible moderate chop, Kodiak Island and the northwest coast.
It used to be that you could only warn one person about a tornado after it had already blown down someone else's barn.
Now, on average, we're able to issue a tornado warning 15 minutes before the tornado's even there, and that wouldn't be happening without Doppler radar.
This NexRad system has reduced fatalities on the order of 45% due to tornadoes since its advent.
We have a lot more information now about storms and being able to understand how they develop, how they produce severe weather, and how that information might be used to improve warnings for our National Weather Service partners.
The lab is unique in that we serve the nation by supporting the National Weather Service in its mission to protect lives and safe property by improving the accuracy and the lead time of severe weather warnings.
We have a legacy of radar research and converting existing technology from military to weather purposes.
A recycled Doppler radar led to the development of NexRad, installed nationwide in the early 90s. It allowed forecasters to see storms like never before.
Not only did we help bring that technology to the National Weather Service and to help protect lives and property, but we have continued to upgrade that technology, keep it relevant, and keep it state-of-the-art.
Recently, a major upgrade was added. Dual polarization technology takes the radar from 2D to 3D. Forecasters now know more about what type of precipitation is falling, which is very helpful during winter storms, as well as how much rain is accumulating, resulting in better flash flood warnings. The radar can also detect and track tornadoes based on debris. Looking to the future, the National Severe Storms Lab is testing the capabilities of phased array radar. Originally used by the U.S. Navy, the antenna scans the skies electronically rather than mechanically, allowing the radar to focus on a storm.
With current technology, we get a full picture or image of what is going on within a storm every 4 to 5 minutes. So it's more like a snapshot. Whereas with phased array radar, we get that picture of what's going on in the storm every minute. So it becomes more like watching a movie. So we can do adaptive, rapid scanning on the storms that matter most, being able to provide the information that's most relevant when and where it's happening.
Another advantage of phased array radar is its multifunction capability, providing weather and air traffic information simultaneously.
Number one, it is a system that promises to replace and expand upon the existing weather surveillance radars. Secondly, to replace aging air traffic surveillance radars. And number three, it offers a potential application to meet Department of Homeland Security and defense requirements for identifying and tracking non-cooperative aircraft. With the replacement of all these various radars with a single system, the American taxpayer could realize substantial savings in cost.
You have a lot fewer radars to maintain, and the electronic capability of this also reduces maintenance costs because you do not have moving parts.
Not too long ago, the ability to predict severe weather was thought to be impossible. During the past several decades, research conducted at the National Severe Storms Lab has developed life-saving tools like Doppler radar. We've progressed from no warning of threatening weather to about a 15-minute lead time, and current research promises to extend that much further.
Our knowledge of severe storms and how they behave And our use and ability to use the Doppler radar technology is in a lot of cases a direct result of that close working relationship, that research to operations component that we get between the National Severe Storms Laboratory and a forecast office.
That history and understanding of how these data can be used by our users and doing the research to help advance the use of radar technology, really it's what we live for, it's in our lifeblood, it's in our history.
It's now easier than ever to be a part of weather research. We just launched the mPing app for both iPhone and Android users, and it's totally free. PING, which stands for Precipitation Identification Near the Ground, is a research project by the NOAA National Severe Storms Lab and the University of Oklahoma. With the mobile app, you can send us your weather observations on the go. Are snowflakes falling on your head? Is hail hitting your car? Just select what type of precipitation is falling and press submit. It's that easy. It takes about 5 seconds and it's anonymous. Reports can then be viewed online. Our scientists will compare your report with what the radar has detected. This helps us develop new radar technologies and techniques. Download the app today, share your reports, and let's work together to make our nation weather ready. Learn more here and follow us.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome back. Today's CS analysis still continuing to grow, moving off to the southwest there, very cold temperatures, even out off the coast there, below zero, Nunivak Island. So that's expanding the ice edge fairly rapidly off to the southwest. But lost the winds, don't have the winds, in fact, becoming a little more easterly. So there's still the possibility that in through here could maybe possibly open up along the coast with the ice getting pushed off in what are known as Polinias. And a little bit of that actually going on up off the western Arctic coast around the central coast there. Anyway, moving into coastal water forecasts. Small craft advisories on the south coast here tomorrow. Northwest 25 to 30 knots, seas 12 to 14 feet. North coast, or central north central coast, south at about 20, seas 10 feet, and then west 20 on the north coast with 8-foot seas. Northwest 30 knots, Lynn Canal, northeast at 20 for Stevens Passage, and northwest 15 for Clarence Strait. And then for Monday, southwest 15 there for Clarence Strait, and north to northwest 15 knots on the south coast with 9-foot seas. Small craft advisories now on the north coast, west-northwest, 25 to 30 knots up here, seas 10 to 11 feet. Lighter winds, Lynn Canal, northwest at 20, seas 4 feet, northeast 15 for Stevens Passage, southeast 15 for Clarence Strait. And for Prince William Sound, northwesterlies tomorrow, good for small craft advisories at 25 knots, seas around 6 feet. Lighter winds here in the eastern North Gulf Coast, out of the west at 15. Western North Gulf Coast, small craft advisories, northwest 25 knots. Same wind pattern there for the Barren Islands, northwest at 25, 7-foot seas. Kamishak Bay a little stronger, northwest at 30, but under gale force, seas 8 feet. Light northeast winds for Cook Inlet with seas in the open water areas at 2 feet. And for the outlook on Monday, light northeast winds north of the Forelands for Cook Inlet. Southern Cook Inlet, though, small craft advisories north 25, seas 7 feet. Northwest 25. Kamishak Bay increased to about 30 knots out of the northwest there for the Barren Islands. And then northerlies at 30 knots for the western North Gulf Coast turn northeast at the same speed there over toward Middleton Island, seas 9 feet. North 15, 3-foot seas for Prince William Sound. Kodiak Island, west-northwest, 25 knots, seas 5 to 6 feet. Alaska Peninsula, southwest winds 20 to 25 knots with 4 to 6 foot seas. And Bristol Bay, easterlies at 20 knots. And for the Monday outlook, northwest at 15 for Bristol Bay, and west-northwest 15 to 20 across the peninsula there, with the seas running 5 to 7 feet, and then 20 knot northwesterlies right up to Sitkinak from Castle Cape. The east side of Kodiak, west at 30, or Shelikof Strait, northwest 25. Fox Islands, Unalaska Island, west-northwest 20 to 25 knots, 6-foot seas. Umak Island, north to northwest at 15, and laid down pretty good here for the central Aleutians. 10 to 15 knot winds out of the northeast, turn a little more northerly toward Amchitka, and then east 20 there for the far western zones. Big increase, bringing actually storm force winds, possibility with that next front. Looks pretty strong, especially back to the west and to the north, but looks like 40 or gale force winds will be approaching the central Aleutians from the south. Otherwise, look for a significant increase in the winds on Monday here, and then southwest 20 to 25 knots for Unalaska Island. Southwest coast tomorrow, Yukon Delta coast, northeast at 15, 20 knots here for the Kuskokwim Delta coast, northwest 25, Pueblos, northeast 20, St. Lawrence Island, all the way down to St. Matthew Island, 10 knots in Norton Sound. And for Monday, northeast at 10, Norton Sound, and much of the northern Bering Sea here down to Nunivak Island, northeast 15 out of Kuskokwim Bay, and the Pueblos north at 15. Moving up to the Beaufort Sea coast, really light winds, kind of light and variable, 5 knots or less, and basically east, southeast to south direction or east here, but picks up to 15 on the west side. Wales to Cape, Cape Beaufort to Cape Thompson, northeast 20. And then for Monday, pretty light winds here from the area from Wales on up to Cape Thompson, east at 10, then 15 knot winds east-northeast on the western Arctic coast, central coast southwest at 10. Light winds continue on the east side. For tonight, light winds up there tonight as well, because high pressure built in over the area there. And again, lows 45 to 55 below anywhere here in the northern and central interior. Definitely some minus 40s or colder over the interior, and minus 30s again, so Sitna Valley, Copper River Basin. For tomorrow, light snow, eastern North Gulf Coast, dry for the Panhandle, and dry mostly on Monday as well, the big front coming in out west.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.